like this.
That's the truck. You ready to go?
Yeah.
You gonna go chippy shop? Get some chippies. They're gonna play at the park? Yeah, it's gonna be good, isn't it? High five? Let's do it.
In the years since his father's murder, Kenny Griffey could have gone the wrong way, but he didn't. He began his own trucking business, got back on his feet, met Katie, and they started a family. Tucker, Ava, and little Maverick. We spent time with them and the kids, got to know them. Katie, warm but wary, protective of her husband.
You go so high.
The kids, well cared for, well loved, full of life. Kenny, well, his story isn't finished just yet.
That was my favourite.
Oh, you're happy?
15 years, Kenny. Why have you decided to speak now?
I've always wanted to tell my story. I want people to know that I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay that Dad was killed. I'm not okay with any of it. And unfortunately, it's taken 15 years to be able to speak about it like this.
Police believe his father was bashed to death between 2:30 p.m. and 3 p.m. on the 29th of December 2005. On that day, the 29th, and the days afterwards, the racing team which you were part of wanted to know if a race was coming up that weekend, and they called your phone multiple times. You never answered.
No, I didn't. I vividly remember looking at my phone and being upset and thinking, you know, I shouldn't have to do this. This is, if we can't afford to race.
You remember the phone ringing?
Yeah, I remember being in my car.
And deciding not to pick it up?
Yeah, 100% decided not to pick it up because I didn't want to let them down. And it's one of my biggest regrets of the whole thing is I was an 18-year-old kid with too much on my plate, and I didn't want to let these guys down, and that's why I didn't answer my calls.
Is that one of the reasons that some suspicion in the early days fell towards you?
Yeah.
Is that one of the reasons? You're part of this team, they're calling you, you don't pick up.
I think
it
so.
Seems odd.
Yeah, of course it does. And looking back on it, it does 100% seem odd.
Kenny, I have to ask you this question.
Yep.
Did you murder your father?
No, I didn't kill my dad. 100% did not kill my dad.
Kenny says he was at the mechanics at that time and returned home to see his father driving up the road. So you get out of the car,
Yep.
you go into the house, who do you see?
So I didn't even make it into the house. Diane met me on the balcony. I didn't make it into the house. She stopped me. Whatever the first thing she said, she'd opened her mouth and I'd seen that her teeth were broken. And I said, what happened? And she said, oh, bloody, I bit into an apple and I've snapped my teeth.
An apple broke my teeth.
There. Yeah, that's what she said.
And when you say broken teeth, chipped?
So about half of her front teeth were missing. So the front, I think it was mostly the front two, were broken at least halfway up. And really, I remember them being really jagged.
Was she upset? Was she agitated?
She was agitated. She was definitely, and a little bit on edge. She was a little bit edgy. And she did seem a little bit upset, but not massively. She seemed a little bit shaky.
You'd seen her only hours prior before you went back to the engine place.
Yep.
What was the condition of her teeth?
No, they were fine.
So somewhere in that 3 to 4 hour period, she'd smashed her front teeth.
Yeah, it looked that way. Yeah.
If this is true, it's damning evidence. Could that injury have happened during a struggle with her husband? Could it have been Michael fighting back? Diane did have an appointment with the dentist later that day, but so far, we don't have those records. Back at the home in Pakenham at the end of that Thursday, a strange thing happens. It turns out his wife is also seeing someone else, a man called Rodney Meekins. He lives nearby with his son Shannon. The entire family, Diane, Cassie, Kenny and Natasha, drive to his house on the 29th and don't return to the family home until 2 days later. It's New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve 2005, not one you're likely to forget.
Nah, never.
Who was there at the house that night?
I couldn't give you every name, but there was a fair few people. It was a lot of my older sister's friends, a lot of Cassie's friends.
All family members there, Diane, Cassie, Natasha.
Yep.
Do you remember anything different about their behaviour, their attitude?
At that time, no. I spent a lot of my time with Tash and her friends, and we just sort of hung out and did whatever we did, swum and played and did whatever. But Diane, I don't remember anything odd about her behaviour. It's pretty normal. As long as she's got a drink, she's happy.
In all, there were 14 people at the party, the Griffeys and 9 friends. Knowing what you know now.
Oh, I hate it. I hate the thought of it. It horrifies me to think that I not only attended, but it was at my house, our house. We had all our closest friends over to celebrate New Year's, and Dad's dead in the garage, and I didn't know. That kills me every day.
Did anyone go into the garage that night?
Shannon Meekins had told me that he'd gone in there. We didn't have an extended conversation about it, but he told me he'd gone in there and that Cassie had stopped him, and he'd turned around and gone out. Yeah, he told me that he'd seen the Monaro in there, the Harley was uncovered, and that the safe was open.
I'm just going to stop you there because this is very important.
Yep.
You're saying Shannon walked into the garage that day and he saw the safe was open.
Yep.
The Monaro was in there with the boot up.
Yep.
And crucially, Cassie stopped him.
Yeah. He definitely told me that Cassie stopped him, and that she was like, "What are you doing in here? Get out, whatever." And
pulled him out of the garage.
Yeah, took him out of the garage, exactly, yeah.
Do you think Cassie knew what was in that garage?
Yeah, I think she did, yeah.
In the next episode, we receive the confidential phone records from Michael Griffey's mobile phone. He presents a twist we did not see coming. Watch it here, right now.